All right, guys, welcome back to the Round Leather podcast where we talk top tier football. Today we have Isibor, Toyosi, Izzy, and Dami. All right, so you guys know what to do. Smash the like button, subscribe, share, help the channel grow so we can continue making, amazing content for you. Um, Community Shield has just passed, little warm up to football, and yeah, it's nice to see Liverpool starting the season on a bad note. That is that, but there's a match that is really coming up, the match. I would say this is arguably one of the most anticipated match in the league, biggest game or one of the most biggest game of the season. And if you're looking at any two fan bases who are not local rivals, but they have so much hate for each other, it's Man U and Arsenal. Like, obviously, each club has made signings, and I'm going straight to Dami here. Finally, we've got the gunman the Arsenal fans have been crying about all this while. How much difference is this guy going to make? And how important is it that he hits the ground running?
Let me start by doing this. Haters are gonna hate. So yeah, Arsenal signed. Let me say, I think he's currently gonna be the best striker in the league this season. Maybe him and Haaland might just, Haaland might give me a run for his money, but it's likely he's in the top 1%, for the league this season. So he's gonna make a huge difference. I wish he came like maybe 2 seasons earlier. Maybe by now we'll be saying we're maybe current champions or won the league 2 years ago. But now, unfortunately, he came a little bit at the wrong time because now other teams have also beefed up their squad. And we're not more, Arsenal is not more a striker away from winning the league. We're a striker away, now we're a left winger away from winning the league now. He came at a time where I'm not giving excuses, but it came at a time where, our creativity in the club has gone down. Everybody knows. 3 seasons ago, Odegaard was on fire. 2 seasons ago, it was good. Last season, he died. Same thing with our left wing, So now, he's a great striker. He's likely to going to get in the region of 20 EPL goals in his first season. But I think, he might not get that sort of supply that Arsenal were typically known for back in the days. Um, he just have to learn how. I think the first thing he told him when he joined the club was ensure you're a good header because you'll be relying on our corner and our set piece. And his first goal came from, from hitting his head. They once one wanted to buy him, they were like, "Well, it's not going to fit into the Arsenal structure. The new Arsenal structure is, cross the ball and ensure you can head because he didn't score any go with his head last season, and his first goal for Arsenal was his head. He just showed, he's a player that can adapt. What I love about Gyökeres is, he knows where the net is. He's not ready to take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 touches and looking for someone to pass to, like what we're suffering from that German guy that Chelsea fraudulently sold to us. He's giving me the ball, let me shoot. Give me the ball, let me shoot. Same thing you saw, when we were playing against Athletic Bilbao. There was a shot Saka wanted to take. He just came in front of Saka and, he took the ball. So yeah, I think we got ourselves, maybe our best striker since Van Persie, that has joined us. And I'm sure we easily get 20 goals. I really hope he gets the supply and the creativity that he typically deserves. And if he does that, trust me, there's no stopping him. There's no stopping him. You're all afraid. He's scared.
I mean, I like to throw this question to Toyosi as well because obviously with City, you guys are used to winning. You've seen the different gameplay, playing without a striker, getting Haaland in, how your system adjusted, and all of that. Is Gyökeres the final piece to the puzzle, or is still not enough?
So, what I tell Arsenal fans is that you can only try, you know. Um, so City is the template or Pep is the template for how EPL is shaped since he came in. Now he has brought the idea of, if you just look at it since for the past 2 seasons, everybody is trying to get a striker that looks and behave like Haaland. Man United went to get fake Haaland, Ojlund, whatever his name is. The guy it looks like Haaland. Now Arsenal has got to get their own fake fake Haaland too. And also, Liverpool also got a similar striker that is someone who is a goal poacher. But I think Arsenal will just try. The team, yes, Gyökeres is a fantastic striker, but I also think that EPL is not Portuguese league. EPL is not a league that you just come and you start scoring right away, start scoring 50, 20, 30 goals. The only person that has done that successfully is and will be Haaland. So I don't think that it's going to be a walk in the park for him. I think, yes, he will get goals. It fits into Arsenal's new style of play, especially from set pieces. Arsenal has the best set pieces in the league in the past 2 seasons. So it will fit fantastically in that. But will they, because of Gyökeres, will they win the league? I don't think so. I think they have bigger problems to deal with. And we will not know until December, January, which is Arsenal's regular focus period. Once December and January comes now, we see that then that is when we'll be able to determine. But I don't think because of Gyökeres, Arsenal will win the league. I don't think so.
I mean, you mentioned earlier in terms of Arsenal have
Hater,
bigger problems.
hater, hater, hater.
What what are these bigger problems that we have? I mean, what more do we need? What
Yes,
more do we?
Arsenal's biggest problem has always been consistency. And that is what determines who a champion is. That's what creates champions. Consistency from beginning to the end. And if you will ever have a period, so the last when City did their the 4 seasons, if you look at the games, sometimes we don't win the big games. We can lose against Liverpool. Klopp will beat us. Klopp will beat us, City. Chelsea will beat us 1-0. But consistency in those small teams, we will not see a draw. We know we are definitely going to win. So that has always been Arsenal's problem. They will do fantastically well when it comes to the time that it matters most. You will see them drop the ball. And until they break that jinx, until last season I think Arsenal even had a better chance. 2 seasons ago they could have won. Last season they could also have won because City was horrible. Liverpool, everyone thinks they were great. I don't think they were that great. I think if City and Arsenal were as they were the previous season, Liverpool might not have won the league. So that consistency is their biggest problem. Consistency in terms of their players. They have players that will play very well. Players like Gabriel Jesus, they'll start very well. They will go missing. Players like Saka, will play very well, go missing in the time that it matters most. Players like they are the only players that matters that were consistent, that has always been consistent, are their defenders, their centre backs. In fact, those ones they will get angry and start going to score. So until they solve that problem, where there is consistency in defense, consistency in midfield, and consistency in attack. We've seen consistency in defense. Now with Zubimendi, who is a fantastic midfielder, I think there's going to be a change there. But in strike, we don't know yet. I don't want us to judge with one game. Dami is already happy. That's how Arsenal fans are. Omo, we don't win. New player don't come. We won the league. But at the end of the day, wetin go end down? Nothing.
Eyes on the ball, Tolu.
I mean, when you speak of consistency, I hear what you're saying, but like there are teams who go compete. Usually, what happens is you go compete, and then you have like after 2 3 years, you have that bad season, sort of like you have this window. And I think Arsenal's competing window was those 2 years, and we didn't do it. So obviously, the team then relaxed the last season, and you see so many injuries came in and all of that. But this team is still young. That's the key difference, right? This team is still young, and I think now
Sorry,
they're set
sorry,
to
sorry,
go
sorry. I
again.
hate to interrupt you, but sorry. So
Hmm.
if the team is still young, is Chelsea team getting old? Is Liverpool team getting old? Is Man City getting old? In fact, Chelsea is even younger. City is now younger. Liverpool is now younger. So what is Arsenal saying? Like,
I mean, I'm saying it's young in consideration that we've not gotten to our end. So I'm saying like the team is not finished. Like we don't have like, 30-year-olds and City having KDB having to go and all these guys, or Liverpool have Van Dijk at 35, Salah at 34. I'm saying like the whole of our team, literally, and our best players are just entering their prime, most of them. So they can still go again. And I think now it's time for them to go again, right? So they are not finished. But I always see this thing where it's like we want this perfection of a squad, right? And I'm going to come to back to Dami on this one because you've expressed your concern in terms of Arsenal have to get easy, if I'm right. And we've always done this where Arsenal fans want a perfect squad. We want backup in every position, top players in every position. But the reality is, only when Liverpool, City and Liverpool are taking this league to like 100 points, 95 points. This is when all this narrative came in that you needed like a, near perfect squad to do this. Now, do we actually need a perfect squad, or the manager needs to figure out how to use this team and just get over the line? Do we really need, you know, best in all position on everything? Like, can we really not continue the season without, people have expressed their concerns about Martinelli, people have expressed concerns about Odegaard's regression and all of that. Do we really need, you know, to still get an Eze, get a Rodrigo until we're able to win?
But the answer is capital yes. Unfortunately, we're competing at a time where everybody has beefed up their squad. CCT buying players like no man's business. Chelsea has a squad that some of their players don't even have locker room to changing. Man U too, they just spent almost 200 million just on the attack. Everybody's beefing up. So you have to beef up. And one of the things Arsenal have always been unlucky when it comes to players is injuries. Everybody knows that there comes a time in the season Arsenal players must injure. I don't know if it's their training method, but we've seen over the past 5, 10 years. At that point when it gets critical, either back then maybe Van Persie gets injured or Fabregas got injured. Then when they pass the baton, then Saka will get injured, Odegaard will get injured, and all these guys never had like credible backups. Saliba got injured one time on the road to our top four. He got injured when we were trying to get league title at the same time. Gabriel got injured, and most of the time, the guys that typically step into their shoes have not been able to, to give their own share of the quota. So we just have to get fantastic players back, fantastic backup at the same time. And also, even the first team self, you cannot compete for the title and your first team is not even good enough. You see, have players that are lacking. It doesn't happen anymore in modern football. It can't just happen because like getting so difficult to win the league. You can't win the league with Martinelli as your left winger and Madueke as your backup. There's no way it's going to happen. Forget the fantasy days are over. Everybody's awake. If you mistakenly even try to win the league to December, if that happens, and guys like Man City can get angry and spend 300 million in January. And what do you want to do again? You want to start catching up, hoping they don't catch up or whatnot. So you have to be ready, ensure you have the best players in all position, have like fantastic backup just in case they need to be called upon. And I think we'll have it. I think we're just two signings away from winning the league this season. Once we get that correctly, a left winger and a creative midfielder. Let's talk about the treble self. I think the league will be too down the pecking order for us to be talking about by then.
Did I hear treble?
Are you scared?
I don't want us to drag Arsenal today, man. I don't want us to drag
If
Arsenal.
it's not meant to be Arsenal analysis, it's a preview. Don't worry, we're getting there. This is just warm up.
Izzy, do you see Arsenal still getting this signing Dami has spoken about? Do you see Arsenal still going ahead to get an Eze, or, get a midfielder, an attacking midfielder, get a winger? And if we don't get it, are we setting up for failure again, or can we still go ahead to win this league?
I think you've reinforced us as much as anything can. You've signed a lot of players. I don't think you should be crying for more. Um, you had a solid core for your team, and you've replaced few of the what I would say areas I thought were weakness points from last season. You should just try to blend the new players with the old ones and try to win. Anything else is just excuses. At this point, you've gotten the most important recipe, which is your striker, your Gyökeres. There should be nothing left as an excuse, is what I think. You need to consolidate on your second place last season and go for the first place. There's really nothing else. Because even if you sign additional players, there's still going to be need to sign more. You can't just keep saying you need more players. We were there last season.
Tell that to Pep that signs players every week after winning the league. He
Would you
signed,
sign
he won treble, he signed, he
you
won the
sign
league, he
more
signed Haaland.
players, you sign more players than Pep this year, right? So you
Really?
shouldn't you
Are you
sign
bad
more
with
players
mathematics?
than Pep this season. You shouldn't complain. You have almost 6 new or 5 new signings. That's a lot for any window. So to your question, Tolu, it's not an excuse. You have all you need to win. Solid core, and you've brought in quality players. Just go for it. There's really nothing else to add to that.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, Isibor, you guys are the noisy neighbor that's knocking on the door, just disturbing the peace of everybody. Say you guys are gonna come and shake the whole table. So now it's like between Arsenal and Liverpool, and obviously Arsenal is going trying to compete for the trying to win the league. Is it really as difficult as Dami is saying it to be? Like, in terms of what we're going to need to be able to do it, or the teams up there are not exactly as good as we're saying they are, and Arsenal have done enough to do it to finally go over the line this season.
Um, first impression, I must get corrected. We're not the noisy neighbors. We're the pride of London. We have the gold bar to show that. So this quote that we're the noisy neighbors is far from it. But yeah, anyway, so back to your question. I think they need to do to take that next step. Um, and they've done that with Gyökeres signing. Um, it's actually a good signing. I think that actually puts them in the conversation, trying to see how they can go one step further and winning the league this time. Arsenal are definitely in it. I won't write them off. What I would just say is probably, as Dami has mentioned, I think they're still quite short when it comes to backup options. If you look at the first team, that team is strong enough to obviously match up with the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea. But when you go to the bench, I mean, there are a few players
I don't
there
hear
that are
you. I
still.
don't hear you calling Man U. Isibor.
I don't think Manu. Leave Manu. Let's leave Manu out of this. Manu are not even in this conversation at all. Let's leave them. So we're talking about serious teams here. So yeah. So if you look at the bench, I think the bench still needs some work. But that's not to say that the manager is not in control. I think Ateta has obviously been there for years now, and I think it would be a huge disappointment if they're not able to sort of consolidate on the progress that they've made over the past few years. Um, I think it should be. If Ateta doesn't win anything this season, he should just leave. It gets to that point where you're wondering if the manager can actually take them to the promised land. If Ateta is not able to win a trophy for them, we're not talking all this, Carling Cup, or what do they call it, Carabao Cup. He needs to be gunning for either the Premier League. We can't even call Champions League. Champions League is they're not even in the picture there. They just go there and make the numbers. It's either they compete to win the Premier League or at least they get the FA Cup. But I think with the other things, reinforcement as well, it's not going to be easy. You guys are sleeping on Chelsea. We'll get to Chelsea. You guys are sleeping on us, but we'll see. We'll see what we can. We'll see what we can do this season. So yeah, I think Arsenal are actually in a good place, and I think they can compete. Yeah.
I mean, you touched on the manager, and I think it's been my biggest question mark. I mean, even when we didn't have a striker. I wasn't really shocked that the team could go to 89 points, compete in the champ. Like people have won the league without strikers. Like City did it. People have won titles, Champions League. Madrid won without a striker. So it was. I never made it an excuse for him that because he did not have a striker. So now that he now has a striker, like you said, if he still cannot do it now without the striker, which is where I'm on, like, listen, if even if they don't get easy, like I haven't spent 200 million, find out how you're going to use Rwanda. Find out how that man is going to put in. You went to spend 55 million on Madrid, which I don't know how your club manages to scam us every single window. It's like there's some sort of weird deal going on behind the scenes that I don't understand. He decided to go spend that money on the guy. So make it work. And if he can't, then like you said, it's going to have to be. I mean, we have to speak about, it's incredible how everyone has all have spoken, but nobody has touched on Zubimendi. And
Touched
I
on who?
think Zubimendi, Martin Zubimendi.
Oh, Zubimendi.
Yeah, Toyosi spoke about him now. He said it was a fantastic signing.
I think it's
Okay.
probably, I think even better than Gyökeres. Zubimendi's introduction to Arsenal is to me is the game changer that would probably make the team click more.
I agree.
Ooh,
The
yes,
guy,
it's
the guy's
important.
forward passes is changing things. He's going to stop Arsenal's sideway passing. Typically, when Arsenal midfielder gets the ball, the first thing on their mind is to go this way, look for Saka. The second thing on their mind is to go this way again and look for Saka. Then if there's no Saka, the guy turns back and gives the ball. If he wants
Yeah.
to remember, but wants to get the ball straight down the middle, training passing, changing dimensions and things like that. Yeah, so it's a breath of fresh air in that midfield.
I mean, how different is this guy to Partey? What exactly makes his game different? Like, what's this dynamic is bringing to Arsenal? Because I don't think a lot of people understand, why this guy for me is one of the biggest key pieces signed this for any club this transfer window, and people are sleeping on him. Like, Dami, could you just explain why this guy is so different from what Partey did?
So I don't know why people. I don't know. I don't know if the right word is people are sleeping on him, but I think rival fans are just hating. It's not as if they're sleeping on him. Just wait for game week 5 and watch those guys in blue, the noisy guys in blue in the other side of London, start making comparison of Caicedo versus Zubimendi. They don't waste time. They don't waste time. Trust
It's
Wait,
them.
coming.
They will start
are we,
saying, Can
are you bringing Caicedo
Caicedo
to
is
the
better than.
conversation again?
Wait, let me answer my question. They said they are sleeping on him. I'm telling Tolu that they're not sleeping on him. Just hates. They're not making him talk about Zubimendi. But there's a way you will shine that your rivals don't find the way just to drag you, but they don't want to praise you. So they'll look for someone that they think is good, but they would ask
Mhm.
if that person is better than you. They've done it. Chelsea fans have done it 2001, and they stayed with Palmer, Saka. They went and they said it was Rice, Casedo. Now just watch the way they will have to bring in Zubimendi and say Zubimendi versus Casedo, but Casedo is better. So to answer your question, one of the things that I said, Partey is a fantastic footballer. I know that to break up play. Where he did not have speed, he made up with being able to anticipate, where the ball will go to. So he knew how to win the ball, calm the game, and make passes. But most often than not, his passes were always this way. I don't know why. Maybe because the interest was in the center or whatnot. Partey holds the ball. He faces most likely to Saka. Sometimes even a better mode, he might give Martinelli. Everybody tries to avoid Martinelli, but most time was to Saka. Then sometimes give short passes to Odegaard, but then again, Odegaard is facing against Saka's wing. But with Mendy, entirely different. Just these few games in my right have played together, especially the game against Athletic Bilbao. You saw the way him and Rice were in sync. The moment he goes front, Rice draws back. When he goes front, when he comes back, Rice goes to the front. So he already has that understanding already with Rice, and he is a fantastic passer. Immediately, I remember that assist he gave to Gyökeres. I'm trying to imagine which Arsenal midfielder that we have today or in the last 2 years will make that one pass. A typical Arsenal midfielder must hold, even if it's Partey, will hold the ball, he will try and scan, or maybe make two turns or two touches before he releases the ball. But Zubimendi was one time. He has read the game already. Okay, I know I'm going to have a striker that is moving in that direction, and he leaves the ball, boom. So, he's very offensive minded at the same time, and is very defensively aware. at the same time. So it makes him a little bit more complete. Maybe the only thing that Partey might have an advantage over, Partey has like a wicked right foot. You know, he knows where the net is, you know, he knows how to release the ball, and it comes like, you know, high shot accuracy and power at the same time. Yeah, I think that's the advantage Partey might have over Zubimendi. But every other player, I think I'll pick Zubimendi every day of the week and twice on Sunday.